Go.
Welcome to Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is your host, Katie Ray. I am joined with George Agavino from Fostering Change Foster Closet in Lutz, Florida, which is Pasco County, right, George?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. So happy to have you. We were introduced by a mutual friend, Angel, who's also your Grand Marshal of your Santa Parade. And I have them here today, Angel and Zoe, but they do not want to guest host. They just want to be a part of the fun. So welcome to Angel and Zoe. So George, welcome to the show. I am so blessed to have you on. I just really want you to be able to share your story, share your initiatives for the kids, and really how you got on this journey and what you and your family are doing now.
Great. Well, we became 20 years ago. I was a cop, So I was on the opposite end of children coming into care. So I would do my report, and people in different places, and child custody and things. They would do their job, and after you were done with your report, you moved to the next call. That was just what police work is. You go to the next call, you take care of it. So when I retired, my wife and I said, you know what? She was a teacher. She saw lots of children that were in the foster care system in the school district. And we got attached to saying, you know what, we're going to be able to help some of these children. And so we started. We started going through classes, and we became foster parents. And it took about a year to go through all of the classes. And, and as we were going through it, we were like, you know what, we're just going to pick a child. We're going to adopt that child, and that's it. So as we were going through Eckerd Connect's classes, we said, I don't know why we're going to need any of these classes. We're just going to pick another child. We've done it 3 times already. We don't need these classes. Little did we know that, about a year later, we get called in July at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we got a call from our licensing specialist, and they said, you know what, you're licensed. You're now a foster family. And my wife and I were like, this is great. We sat down with the kids. We were like, all right, this is family. And at 11:20, we got called for the first child. So we had 20 minutes to set in that we were foster family. We were foster parents. So we get called 20 minutes later. 11:20. Oh, yeah. And we have a child that he has special needs. And they told us development delayed. He had cerebral palsy. And, could you take him? And we were like, oh, that's what we signed up for. Let's go. So we get the child. He comes. And in foster care, you don't ever use anybody's names. It's just for the safety of the children.
Yep.
When I say my foster, it's not out of disrespect. It's I always use my little ones or my littles or, my little guy. So, just so you know why I'm not using any names.
Yep. Protect them.
We got our little guy, and, he pulled up and we looked at it. We were like, all right. Now, my wife and I haven't been, infant parents in 16 years at the time. We're like, all right, are we back? Are we ready to go? So we get him out of the car. We get him all in, and we had 20 minutes to prepare. So we were like, all right, we don't have a crib. We don't have clothes. We don't have anything. We had 20 minutes to say he's on his way. So what we did is we called all of our neighbors, and we put out a Facebook post and said, listen, we just became brand new foster parents. We need help. We have the little guy coming, and we don't have a crib. We don't have any of this. And if I had to go out and buy this stuff, I would have done it. We just whatever it took. But all of a sudden, all of our neighbors started dropping stuff off. Hold on, I'm a foster parent. Hold on, I'm a foster parent. Hold on, I got so much stuff left from my kids when they. And before I knew it, the entire foyer was full of everything that we needed for him. And it was. At that point, my wife and I looked at each other and said, look at everybody out there, and look at everybody that wants to help. Like, we had no idea. So we were 20 minutes in. So as 6 months goes by, a year goes by, we're like, how many more children can we help if they only had all of the supplies? So what we started to do is we we had a friend who had a lot, and it was all overtaken. It was a big wilderness. You didn't even know that there was a house back there or a building. So my partner and I, we said, you know what? Let's see if we could clear this lot, get to the house. So we asked the owner, and they said, listen, we want to open up a nonprofit. Nobody pays for anything. Nobody's making any money on anything. Mm-hmm. We just want to go and help these foster children. And she was like, I'm on board. If you can get that house ready, you could have it. I will use the write-off, and I will give you the building for free. So I was like, what a blessing.
Wow.
So my and I, Josh, we started getting in the woods, and we started using chainsaws and sawzalls. And it took us about 9 months and we got to the house. And when we get to the house, we get in the house and we look up, and you could see right out the roof. Literally, right. The trees were inside and every side, and we were like, "Oh God, what did we just get into?" So people were wondering as they're driving by, because the place has been like that for a very long time. They're wondering, what are they putting there? What's going on? And we get more people to stop and more people to say, hey, what are you doing? And we said, well, we'll put in a foster closet. And they would go, what is a foster closet? And we would tell them that we're going to give everything from diapers to prom dresses away, and everything is going to be free, and anybody in need could come and get it. And a lot of people didn't know what it is. They have no idea what the foster system is like. And, so we kept working at it, and we kept working at it. And all of a sudden, then we had a company called First Choice Roofing. They called me, Ken, and Ken said, George, I got some friends. They have foster children. Family has foster children. This is close to our heart. I want to give you a new roof. Coastal Tile wants to give you a new floor. The Mears Plumbing wants to fix all your plumbing. I mean, we had contractors. We had screening places want to give us, what was just everybody got together. Mm-hmm. And they literally helped us redo the house. Would have taken us over a year and lots of fundraisers. And they all came and volunteered and donated their supplies. And they made the house amazing. Then we get a call that says, listen, from Excel Solar, and said, we own a solar company. We're a very small business, but we love your mission. I want to give you solar panels so you never have to pay another electric bill. And they came, and just last week they put on 16 solar panels, and once it's all hooked up, we never have to pay another electric.
I am so hype about all the community coming together. And I know you don't just help Pasco County. I just like to tell people where it's located, because you help all communities. Yes. But that warms my heart, because, so much horrible news comes out, and it's like, here you did an outreach, you created awareness. And that's what I tell people. It's just like teaching other people that this is happening is really just creating awareness. And the people that really feel it on their heart are going to do what they can to help.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
And that's just so awesome. You were 20 minutes in as a foster parent and as a police officer, which thank you so much for your mom your wife is a teacher too. You guys just have my heart. But, did you expect yourself to be here today? What you're doing?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. No.
No.
Oh, no. Once we started with this, more and more people came and more people donated. And then we started putting up tents, and then we got a semi that we had to put stuff in. And then it just kept growing and kept growing. And again, this is all nonprofit. This is all, nobody pays for anything. And I'll tell you a quick story, which is really awesome to show you how the community comes together, is we had a child from an elementary school close by. Teacher called me and said, Mr. Agavino, I got a child here. He's got duct tape on his shoes. He's not a foster child, but they need help. And I was like, oh, I don't turn to anybody. Let's go. Come on. So they come down. So the child, he gets all his stuff. He goes all back home. The teacher calls me up the next day or the next weekend and says, you know what? He told me he went shopping at the Foster Mall and he got everything he needed. So he didn't even realize it was a foster. It was a mall.
Yeah, you were a mall. That's so great.
Just yesterday, I had a family come in from Winter Haven because they couldn't get help from here to Winter Haven. Oh. So They came from Winter Haven, drove an hour and a half. They got there. I made sure everything was great. And as I'm playing outside with the kids, because she had 5 children and they were all young, 2 autistic children. So I was outside on the playground and we were all playing while mom was getting everything she needed. And the little baby comes back and goes, I was just down the toy aisle and there's a lot of stuff over there. And I'm like, you know what? This is awesome. Nobody looks at it as a house.
No.
It's a place where they can come and get things and and I'll get into a lot of the feeling that I have about foster children and the feelings that people had when we first got into it. Like, for instance, when we first got into it, we were telling everybody, we're going to be foster parents. The first thing that everybody tells you is, oh my God, you're going to get involved with those children? And that was the first thing that somebody told me. And those children are children. Those children are awesome. Those children need help. Those children need hope. So yes, we are getting involved with those children because that is the problem that people look at, that they say it's those children or they don't give them a chance. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do.
Oh, wait, you cut out. What you want to do, go back. What you want to do is give them a chance, is what you said?
A chance. We want to give them hope.
Yep.
We want to make sure when they come in and they're part of our family. And literally, once you know me, you are part of my family. I will do anything. I will give you the shirt off my back. It doesn't matter. You walk through those gates, you are part of my family. And and I want the kids and the foster parents and everybody around to know that, and it's not about just the foster parents, because the children are a huge part of it. But the idea is you don't want the children to ever be in foster care. That's the whole idea. So if we can help families in need before they
get to that spot where your kid is now in foster care, it's like it's creating awareness. It's showing that there is support. You cut out a little bit, but I'm all for that. And the awareness that you're even spreading, the fact that teacher knew to call you and be like, hey, I want to get this kid new shoes. Like, I want somehow for them to feel like they're special too and go to your mall. Basically, you get to go to your mall.
It's so funny is I get excited. Like, I had inspectors call and investigators call, and I've had sheriff deputies call. And believe it or not, I get excited not because they're calling, but I get excited because they know who we are. And then they know where they can come for help. That is, I tell my wife, I'm like, we just got a call from a guardian ad litem today. And she's like, well, how did they find out about us? I said, I have no idea, but I'm so glad they did. And the word is getting out there that this is what we do. This is all about it. And I'm going to give a prop to your partner over there,
Angel.
When she called me and she told me about her story, and and she said that she wants to help us. I was like, right then and there, I'm like, Angel and I are going to be great friends because she's a wonderful person. She does so much. She's a great mom. And that's why when we said, you know what, you're going to be the Grand Marshal because you need to show that it's not those children. Look at it. You're a wonderful person. You made it. You have a great family. You got children. I mean, that's why Angel is she's always going to be part of our family. Her family, the children, her husband.
I know. She's an angel. We love her. Yeah. And her story does show that the people that are like, oh, you're going to take those kids in, those kids end up like Angel. And those kids, one of my very good friends, Kevin, who's also my boss, he also came through the foster care system, and he's now part of the board of directors at the Heart Gallery in Tampa. And that's the first former foster child they have on the board of directors. So being an advocate for those kids and telling them like what they go through and being that voice is so powerful now. Because people don't, and as your Grand Marshal Angel, like she gives a voice to the kids, and you're a parent to the foster kids, but at the same time, like the lived experience is something that people don't realize, and hope.
I could only say the passion that I have to help. And I could tell you what my children go through because my children are helping. And I can tell you what my foster children are going through. But again, it's what my foster children are going through in my home. To have somebody that has been in the system. Now, and I'm going to tell you a quick story too. I was literally picking up items right around the corner from the closet. And I had a gentleman from Spectrum. He was working on one of the lines outside. So as I was loading in some stuff in the truck, he comes walking over and the woman was talking to me and she was saying, all right, listen, I got some more stuff for the foster children. I got this and this. And he walked over and he says, can I ask what this is about? And now he's in a Spectrum uniform. And he goes, I said, I own the foster closet there. I says, and I help anybody in need. He said, I was in a system my whole life. He says, when I was 18, I went to the Army. He says, and it's because people that got me through it. And from right there, my hair stood up on.
Yeah, it just stood up on my end.
You know what? You have no idea who's around, who's been in the system, what's going on, and you don't realize who you help. And my thing is, a true act of kindness never needs to be repaid, ever. So I don't, the stories are wonderful to hear and all of the children that we're helping, but all of the children that we help, I just want them to succeed. I don't need to know. They don't need to know it's me, and before we started being foster parents and my wife was a teacher, I had something called the Student Lunch Fund. And I went around with my wife and we went to 13 different elementary schools and we paid off their student lunches. Whatever, when they were eating those cheese sandwiches, we checked with the cafeteria staff and we said, all right, who needs this? And they would give me a list, 60 children, 80 children. These children have 100 days of cheese sandwiches. And I would go and I would pay it off. And the next day, the children go in and they would go up and they would get a little lunch. They had no idea why. They knew that, you know what? I just had 60 days of brown bagging cheese lunches. And today I got a pizza because it's Friday, like all of the other children. Now, were they foster kids? No. All of them? No. But I will tell you one thing. I didn't want them to know who it came from. I didn't care. I just said, you know what? When that kid comes up on the line on a Friday and gets his pizza or gets her pizza, and they say, why am I getting a pizza? But they didn't have any idea why. And they were just smiling. That's all it's about. And the cafeteria staff used to tell me, George, you had to see their faces. You had to see their faces when we gave them a hot meal and we did give them their brown bag cheese sandwich. And I said, you know what? That's all you had to tell me. It was worth every time. And I did 13 schools I did. And it was a great experience. And it's something that I'm passionate about too. I'm just passionate about making sure the children are set and they're like everybody else, and I guess that's the best way that I can put it.
They need to feel loved, right? And that's it. Just feeling loved. And you make my hairs on my arms. I just, all these stories of, and you are so genuine with it. It's not for publicity. We need publicity to get the word out. Yes. But you're not doing it for anything except so that kids feel loved. And when you were an officer, did you have those spots you could call like yourself right now? If you had a kid that you had to take out of a home, like, did you have those? Did you have anything like that, what you're doing right now?
As an officer, we would write the report. Child was removed from home, CPI, investigator on scene, and then they would take it. So if the investigators and the people on scene, they would make the calls and do all that. I would write the report for basically a keep the peace, make sure, God forbid, nothing happened, everybody was safe. And, like thinking back of all of the times that I was on calls like that, you don't realize, like, you're not hard, but you have to separate the calls from being an officer. You have to, because you go to the next call and now all of a sudden there's a gentleman with a gun or there's another domestic so all of a sudden you're still thinking about the child that got removed. You're not ready for the next call and you have 2 seconds to make that response, that people see on TV for years and years and years. You have 2 seconds to think about that response. So your head needs to be in the game with every car stop and everything else. So, I tried not to get involved I was officer friendly. I was a school
Yes,
resource
you were
officer.
officer friendly, George. Of course,
I was
you were
officer
officer friendly.
I was officer friendly. Yes, I was
Of
in
course.
Clearwater.
Oh my gosh! I grew up in Clearwater. Oh my gosh!
Yes,
Oh my gosh!
I did all 26 of the elementary schools before the
Oh,
program was
man.
done. I was the last officer friendly before the program left.
Oh, really? Wait.
Yep,
it left?
myself. Yeah, oh yeah, Officer Friendly left about 10, oh God, maybe even longer than that, 10, 15 years ago. Myself and my partner, Lynn Sean, she would do the 4th, 5th graders. And she would do the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I would do the 4th, 5th, and 6th. And we would go to every school. That was our thing. We would do the Christmas parties. We'd do holiday parties.
Yes.
And then I became a resource officer. So I did that. But I loved being Officer Friendly.
Yes.
When those kids come around,
So hyped to see
it's so
Officer
funny.
Friendly.
It is so funny is because they would tell me, Agavino, why are you a cop? And I said, what are you talking about? They said, you should be a firefighter. Everybody loves a firefighter, because I was a cop. I hated not to be.
Oh,
I really.
I know. It's people are like, oh, it's a cop. And you're like, wait, give me a hug. I just want a hug. Give me a hug.
Exactly. And it was
Why
so
are
funny.
You a cop? Everyone loves firefighters.
You should be a firefighter. Everybody loves seeing a firefighter. Everybody likes cops, so it's so funny.
Oh my gosh.
I tell you, our thing coming out of how long we get to do the podcast, which I enjoy doing, is great. But our big thing now that we're doing, and I'd love to tell you about, is
don't worry, you still have time. I would have told you about the Learning Center, right?
Yes.
Let's push
yes.
it.
This is our we have a building on our closet, on our property.
Wait, you're cutting out. Give me 2 seconds. You're cutting out. 1 second. Building attached to, not attached, but behind the closet for the Learning Center. It's you're starting the project.
Yes. It's 5,000 square foot.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's a big building. So what we did is we went back there and we looked in it, and the gentleman that owns the lot, they said, if you want to use this, we will give you a great deal. And he did. Now, obviously, they can't give us 5,000 square foot for free. It's just, I understand there's a whole lot of stuff going to it. So he said, but we will give you a great deal. And he did. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make this happen. We're going to build this nonprofit learning center in the back where it's going to look like Disneyland. It's going to have a playground, and it's going to have everything that children could go in. They have hope. They have love. They know that, they don't have to know that it's free or they're a foster child or that it's for the needy. They don't have to know any of that. They just have to know they can go there and they're like every other child. And the whole idea is that if we can help other families that maybe need to get a job in order to keep their children, and we could help with that, and we could get government grants, and we can get things to keep this building and keep everything going. That's the goal. I mean, the goal isn't to take children away from their parents. It's to make sure that they get the help they need. So if we could now, you and I both know that there are situations that children need to come out for the safety of for them. And I'm not saying that,
100%.
But other children do not need to be removed from their home if their parents just had
Help,
a way
support.
that they could get help, if a way that they could make ends meet, maybe just clothes, maybe a place where they can bring their child and they can go to work, and that's what they need to keep their child. And that's what this nonprofit is about. It is this learning center is we're able to fit. We started doing all different surveys and everything. We started it, and we can fit about 115 children in this building once it's all done. That's what we're going to be allotted for. So 115 children that could be helped every day. Their families could be helped. So I want Eckards and I want all of the nonprofit foster homes where they have children. I want them to know that when a child comes into care, you call Fostering Change. They're going to be perfect. They can go there tomorrow and everybody can go back to normal. The child can go and get whatever. If we can get the therapist and we can get help that they need, we can get the child help, we can get the family help. I have this. So many plans, but the key is
you have
is
so
to
many
get
plans.
somebody.
You cut out. I don't want people to miss your message. The whole plan is to help one family,
I do.
right? One family at a time.
Well, that's what my wife tells me. She said, because I stay awake night, and you could see my posts come out at 2, 3 in the morning, just because that's all I'm thinking about all day, every day is, all right, how am I going to get this going? And, if I'm looking at and never to get political because I don't, but if you ever look at a politician that says, hey, I can make $200 million in about a week can't make 100,000 to save children. That's what
and
I'm
George,
thinking.
you can get political on that because you're 100% right. Why are we not putting the money where it needs to go? And why is a pro-life push so hard when the kids are out here on the streets, not getting the support they need? That needs to be the pro-life push, right? We need to get the money to the kids 100%. Like what you're doing is amazing. I'm going to do what I can to get the word out. I have a very big mouth because I'm not a great whisperer, but I love what you're doing. And my whole thing with the podcast is to tell your story, get the people to love you, which is already happening. Like I can't even deal. I want to hear all the stories. I want to hear all the things. And you're officer friendly. So that's another part of my heart. But now we're going to push for this learning center. It's a lot of work that you're putting on your plate, like a ton of work to get like group areas with foster kids because of the state and them still being of course, essentially the system's property. I hate to say property or whatever the word is, term. It's not nice to say, but it's a lot of work for you to do. So just getting that word out and making an area like that. I have a couple names in mind I'm going to tell you after this to kind of reach out to who I've seen been doing this little bit of work in Tampa and stuff. Because I think group of people with a passion is such a force to be reckoned with. But I'd like to give a shout out to your wife for always keeping you balanced because you can't save the world right at once. Like you got to do one family at a time.
Tells me you cannot save the world. And I said, there's so many children need to be saved. I want to do every one of them. She said, one at a time, which, and yes. Thank God for my children, because it wasn't for my older children helping out with the younger children. All of the support. My daughter's boyfriend is part of, once he's got into the family, he's actually there now giving out
George, I'm inviting myself to your house and every event that you have because these are my people right here. You're growing good humans, and like that's my ultimate goal with my little ones. I'm like, just be good. Like, let's go deliver this to the nonprofit down the street. Let's go do this. And you just try to build good. And when you're watching that and they're helping with the little ones and their heart is as big as yours, and I approve of the boyfriend. I hope you do too, because that's a big step, right? He's stepping into you might be lovable, but you might be a little intimidating too.
It's huge when they walk.
Wait, you cut out. You said when they walked. Wait, George, stop. Wait 1 second. When they walked, you said the parade?
They did the parade. They took all of the toys from the families, 3 miles. They were the ones loading it up. Those children, the kids. So it's just amazing how much help. It's amazing how much help.
And you know what? There is good people out there, and you're giving off the energy to then get back the same energy that you're giving. So you're just surrounding yourself with good people, and I love having you on. So what else we got to do? We got to get donations for the Early Learning Center. Do we need other specific things? Are you doing all the paperwork on that back end for the state grants and all that?
We have somebody who is helping us try to find as many grants as she can, and she's trying to, do grants. And we are truly open for anybody who wants to, knows anybody at Lowe's or Home Depot, or anybody that wants to, that could help us with supplies. Anybody that knows anybody giving away grants, because the whole idea is to make this sustainable, not just to build, which we're going to build. I mean, we want to build, but we want to make sure that every year we're not relying on the same grants and the same things. We want to make sure it's sustainable so these children have a place to come for many, many years to go. So, we want, that's our big thing. We're going to get it built because I really have faith. Truly, I pray and I really have faith that we're going to get it built. More and more that I'm speaking to people, like I said, it was a godsend that I met Angel. And I truly believe that God puts you in places and puts people in your life for reasons. And, I truly believe it. And I just with her heart, with your heart, with getting the word out, with even some of the newscasters that came out to do things for some of the newscasts. They were like, all right, listen, we're going to try to call this star or that star or this wrestler, and a couple tweets, and that's all you're going to need. And I was saying the same thing. I'm like, I don't want to inconvenience anybody, because I know so many celebrities are very, very busy. I understand that. But if they would just post one thing that says, listen, I did the research, Fostering Change is a legit company, check them out, I may be able to get somebody that says, I don't want them to say, hey, listen, I want to ask you for that much money, because that's not what I'm about. But if you want to say, you know what, I can write a tweet, it won't cost me anything,
Exactly.
And maybe we can get this guy set up, that's what I'm into.
And you find one person that can, be able to donate that, and I love that idea. Just keep the word going, right? Just keep it going. Tell your story everywhere. And I do love the news. I love the news specials that have been featuring you. But for me, it's such a quick clip. You're going to get those few, but like when you can tell your story and really show people where your passion, where your love comes from, where the hope is building. And like, I just think it's so much more powerful. And because I felt I think it was the Channel 10 when you were talking about the Learning Center. I was like, oh, just a glimpse of George. Give me a little bit more, like a little bit more, because you were so powerful in that like small statement, and I'm going to assume that you're Italian. Let's throw that out there. That's so weird. It was like a guess. It was totally guess. And I love that you're stopping like I hate the stereotypes of foster children are all they're troubled kids. It's like, no, they're kids, and they might have had an experience, a traumatic experience. And I hate the initial, like, I can't be a foster parent. That's just too much on you. Is it? Because you're helping a child feel like they're at home still. Like you're getting taken away from your home, and then you trying to build something that makes them feel like home is what you're doing.
Absolutely. And I understand that there is fostering is not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It is difficult. It is hard. But you know what? I'm okay with everybody not being foster parents, because we're finding so much love out there that we're spreading it to people that do want to be foster parents, and people who don't but just want to help are still helping, which is wonderful, because you need both. You need people who want to be foster parents, and you need people who want to help the mission. And we are truly getting both. We're getting people say, I'm just not able to foster. I would love to. I'm not physically able to. Maybe I'm not financially able to. But I believe in everything you have, and I want to volunteer at your facility every Saturday. I love it. I truly love it, because the more people that speak about it, the more people that realize that it's not those children. It's truly not. It's children who have trauma, and that's the whole thing is with our Christmas toy drive is children deserve new toys.
100%.
They deserve. They had a garbage bag and 5 minutes to gather all of their stuff. They're in foster care. They've already, their sense of worth is already diminished.
Yep.
So now you tell them at Christmas, go pick a toy. I'm like, we are gonna make sure that anybody who asks us is going to get a Christmas tree full of toys, and we are going to make sure that at least that I could help. I can help. And then next year we were at it again. We'll do it again.
And that's the awareness that needs to be spread. Like when you tell people they have a garbage bag of their items, like my sister who didn't really know about it, she was like, what? She's like, I get duffel bags from when she was like hairstyling events. She's like, I have bags for like, are you kidding me? And I was like, no, like you don't realize that's their items in there. And the first time I heard it was, again, my friend Kevin, he said that he had a broken box of his items at every foster home. Like it was just a broken, like, how, and my 7-year-old the other day said, Mom, how does Santa deliver all the toys to the homeless kids? And I said, you know what, Jaden, he finds them, but that's why we are giving so many toys, so he doesn't miss anyone. And he's like, oh, okay, good. Because he's like, what if they don't have a tree? And, it's like him thinking, like, how do we get these to those kids? And that's it. I just want you thinking. I want you to understand that there are kids that are less fortunate out there, but we're going to help. Like, we're going to do something. So
that is wonderful.
Right.
actually thinking about that is wonderful. It builds empathy, it builds children up and care about other children. And if you looked at the news, you wouldn't realize that people truly care about people.
I know.
People truly, if you looked at the news, you would think everybody hates each other.
That's why I should have given you a 30-minute segment, George. You should have gotten a 30-minute segment on the news. Should have just cleared out every other crappy story that day and just put George on. That's it. Just George. That's it.
I like the idea that the more people that know about what we're doing, the more people that know that people really do care about each other. You don't look at your neighbor the next time and say, am I supposed to not like him? Because that's what the news tells you. The news tells you, what? We're not supposed to get along. But you know what? We are supposed to get along. We're all supposed to get along. And I just think that if more people realize that people are getting along out here and people really do care, they care about children, they care about each other. Just in my foster closet, you will see people, sorting clothes and helping, that they don't know anybody. They're just coming because they want to be part of it. And it's a feeling.
That's it. And your family's amazing. You're amazing. I'm going to say some of the stuff to make sure people heard us on here, and then you can correct me if I miss anything. You are now getting funding for the Early Learning Center. So anybody that wants to donate, anybody that has a connection with the supply company, somewhere that wants to give, you want to set it up kind of like a school learning center and a play area, like playground. Right? Is that how the type of stuff that you need, like a kitchen, like kitchen stuff? And
we are going to have, we're not going to have a kitchen. We are going to have from pre to kindergarten. We're going to have food brought in every day.
Got it.
Because of, so we're going to have food brought in every day. We're going to have an infant room. First for toddlers, for 1 year, 2 year old, 3 year old, 4 year old. It's going to be, and then we're going to try to get whatever program we can to help even the older children.
Yeah.
With therapy and things that we can get. It's going to be a place that it's going to be wonderful to go, and it's going to have a big playground, and it's going to be a space that they know when they pull in. All right, this is Fostering Change. We're all family here, and they can come in and they know that they're safe there. They know that nobody's going to hurt them there.
I love that. So it's just gonna be a safe place for kids. And if people know, another thing people forget, like along with therapy and other teachers that are volunteering, maybe people that can speak to them about hope, just come in and have like guest speakers for the older kids to make them feel like somebody cares about where they're going. Things like that. So I just love what you're doing. I love that you're getting the word out. This podcast episode will be beginning of the year. So if you have a resolution to go to the gym, instead donate that money to George, right? Don't worry about the gym right now. Take that money. If you were going to go get on a diet and spend all that money on all healthy food, take that money, give it to George. Okay. Cause no one ends up at the gym anyway. So that's what I want to make sure people hear. And George, I am so glad you and your wife have a little break these next couple of days. You deserve it. All the work you put in, never feel guilty about that, right? It will be done. The people around you will support it. Take that little decompress and get back in the swing of things, right? I love that you joined. Is there anything else you'd like to share to my billion listeners?
You know what? I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to Angel, all your friends, both of yours, all your friends. I'm so grateful. Like I said, God puts people in your life for a reason, and I'm so grateful. We are going to be part of this to where when this finally and it gets everything all done, we're all going to be there for that ribbon opening and that grand opening, and I just can't wait. I cannot truly wait for this to tuition, and it's gonna because I have faith.
And I just have faith that people start surrounding themselves with better people. So like get on George's family list. I'm on it now and I'm super hype about it. Like I'm so excited. And I just hope that people know Fostering Change, Foster Closet in Lutz. Also, the Learning Center is in the process right now. You can find them on Not a Great Whisperer podcast page on The Real K-Ray, KDRay.com. It's all over. I will continue to share your message. I absolutely adore you and your family. I think genuine people with just good character just need to lead this world. And you're doing it. But again, Listen to your wife. One family at a time. Don't get crazy. Don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead. Just one family at a time. Okay.
Well, thank you. Thank you both. But thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so, and I'm truly grateful for everybody, everybody who gave toys, everybody who's, listening to the podcast, everybody who just goes to the website and just looks at Fostering Change. I truly am grateful, because I know that more and more people will get involved and will help all of these children. And, it's not a cliche. These are real children.
They are.
These are real children, real families, and we're going to make a difference. I know we're going to make a difference.
That's for the kids. And at the end of the day, impacting one, letting one know that they're loved is the most important thing you can do. And George, you are a local celebrity. You will soon be a worldwide celebrity. It's all about you. Okay. Thank you for joining. We are at BKN Creative Studio in Ybor. George joined us from Zoom, but the next interview will be in studio. He promised. And we appreciate you. Thank you. Angel and Zoe are here. They did not say one word, but they are physically here. Thanks for joining Not a Great Whisperer podcast. This is Katie Ray and George, and we're out.